I didn't expect the retirement party to be about me. It was supposed to be about my father's 38 years at the same engineering firm. The restaurant was warm, too bright, filled with relatives who had opinions about everything and certainty about most of it. I had chosen a seat near the end of the table. Not hiding, just not volunteering. My younger brother, Adnan, was already on his second drink when the speeches started. He's always been good with timing, just not the careful kind. Dad finished speaking. Applause, a few teary hugs. My mother dabbed at her eyes. And then Adnan stood up again. "I just want to say," he said, smiling in that way that feels harmless until it isn't, "Dad worked hard to build a family legacy. 2 sons, 1 married with kids," he gestured to himself, laughter, soft and approving, "and 1," he looked at me, 35 years old and still single. What a waste. It landed exactly how he intended. Someone coughed. A cousin snorted. I heard whispering travel like wind across the tablecloth. My mother leaned toward one of her sisters, but loud enough for others to hear. "We worry about him. He doesn't think about the future. You will die alone if you don't build a family." My father didn't correct her. I felt the familiar tightening in my chest, not rage, not even embarrassment. Something quieter. A small collapse that had happened enough times it no longer surprised me. For years, my worth in that room had been measured in milestones I hadn't prioritized. Marriage, children, visibility. My work was always abstract to them. Consulting sounded like avoidance. Strategy sounded like drifting. I smiled. Not performative, just controlled. I checked my watch. Adnan laughed again. Maybe he's waiting for a miracle. Maybe. The doors of the restaurant opened. No one noticed at first. Just the sound of polished shoes on tile. Then a host guiding someone in. A man in a dark suit, not flashy but precise. The kind of presence that doesn't demand attention yet rearranges a room. He scanned the tables once. Calm. Certain. "Excuse me," he said to the nearest server. "I'm looking for Mr. Shahid G." The use of my full name made my mother straighten. I stood. "I'm Shahid." The man's expression shifted into recognition. "Good. I apologize for the interruption." He extended his hand. "Firm, professional, Daniel Mercer. Senior partner, Northbridge Advisory." There are names that mean nothing to some people and everything to others. A few of my father's former colleagues, invited out of courtesy, went visibly still. Daniel continued, his voice measured but carrying. "We finalized the board vote this afternoon. The acquisition went through. The investors were unanimous. They asked me to personally confirm your appointment before Monday's announcement." Silence deepened. He wasn't loud. He didn't need to be. "We're grateful for your leadership on this. Without your restructuring plan, the firm would not have stabilized in time for the deal." He handed me a slim folder. Formal, unavoidable. Across the table, Adnan's smile had flattened into something uncertain. My mother blinked twice, processing the words. Acquisition, board, leadership. My father cleared his throat. "What firm is this?" Daniel turned politely. "Northbridge acquired Raman Infrastructure Holdings this morning." That name meant something in this city. Even my aunt stopped pretending not to listen. "And Shahid," Daniel added, "will be joining the board as Director of Strategic Operations." No applause followed. This wasn't a performance. It was information. Daniel lowered his voice slightly. "We'll see you Monday. Congratulations." He left as quietly as he had entered. The doors closed. The room felt rearranged. Adnan let out a small laugh. "Wow. So you didn't tell us." I sat back down. "There wasn't anything to tell," I said evenly. "It wasn't final." My mother leaned forward now, her tone softened, almost eager. "Director, that sounds important." "It's work," I said. My father looked at me differently. Not proud exactly, more unsettled. As if the blueprint he had been using to measure me no longer applied. The rest of dinner moved carefully. Conversations were shorter, eyes lingered longer. My title passed around the table in whispers that sounded different from before. Adnan tried once more. "So I guess you don't need a miracle." I looked at him, not with triumph, not with resentment. Just clarity. "No," I said. "I don't." What surprised me wasn't their reaction. It was my own lack of urgency to correct them. For years I had imagined proving something. Delivering evidence, forcing recognition. But sitting there, with the folder beside my plate, and the hum of cautious respect around me, I understood something simpler. Their approval had never been the missing piece. I had mistaken visibility for value. When dinner ended, relatives hugged me with new warmth. My mother squeezed my arm. "We always knew you were capable," she said. I didn't argue. I didn't agree either. Outside the air was cooler, quieter. Adnan caught up to me in the parking lot. "You could have told me," he said, almost defensive. "I would have," I replied. "When it mattered." He nodded, unsure what that meant. I got into my car and sat there for a moment before starting the engine. The humiliation from earlier replayed briefly, but it felt smaller now, not erased, just reduced to what it actually was, a reflection of their limits, not mine. The authority in that room hadn't been Daniel's title. It had been the undeniable shift of reality. I hadn't won anything. I hadn't defeated anyone. But something had settled into place. For the first time at a family gathering, I wasn't waiting to be understood. And that felt like enough.